And here we go. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Designer Show. I'm online with John and Robin. And
Hey,
how you guys?
Everybody.
Not sure if
hello.
Kevin and Renee will be joining us. So if they pop in, awesome. Uh, that's how we roll here. We just what works for everybody. Will things happen. So anyway, welcome. It's nice to have everybody on the show again. I've been away for a little while doing some summertime things, which has been really fun. So taking a little time off. Last week I was at a wedding. I think I don't know.
Nice,
I've had lots of
nice.
things going on. It's been a busy summer. Can't believe it's August already. Oh, can you
I
believe
know.
that?
Nope,
Just, but
nope.
anyway, on the upside,
Although,
it'll be fun. We get to see each other again at the end of the month here. So
yes,
in person. So that'll be fun at
Yeah.
the Coeur
that'll be
d'Alene,
fun.
at the event in Coeur d'Alene. All right.
Um, what
You're gonna
time
say
is it
something,
in New
Robin?
Zealand? Yeah, what time is it in New Zealand? Hey, Jared.
Hey,
Hi,
Norman.
Jared.
Hey, Jared. How are you?
Jared's in Seattle. That one's an easy one, but New Zealand, gosh, that must be midnight there. I don't know. I don't
Uh,
know the time zone issue.
Whatever time it is, welcome to our show.
Welcome.
Yes. So we don't have any specific topics today. It's kind of like open forum. You guys get to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, we'll just blather about the weather. So, or not. We'll talk about something chief architect.
5 a.m. Oh,
Yeah,
Norman is dedicated.
5
I
a.m.
wish.
tomorrow morning.
Well, Norman, it's Norman, the guy off the fish picture. Yeah, he's always holding a big fish. So, Norman,
Wow.
welcome. Anyway,
5 a.m. Hey, Chad. Hi, Doug.
all right.
Cool. It's so nice to see everybody. Okay, we're
Yeah.
going to start with a joke today, right? Is that the new thing?
That's the new thing.
All right, Robin.
Okay.
Laugh,
I
Robin.
understand. Robin, I understand you have a joke for us today.
Yeah, it's as long as I don't laugh, it's fine. So it's my favorite joke. What did the skeleton order when he came into the bar?
I don't know. What did the skeleton order when he came to the bar?
Thank you. A beer and a mop. Ba-dum-bum. It's my favorite joke. It always makes me giggle. Hey, Kevin, how are
Beer in
you?
the mouth.
Good. I'm glad I got here in time for your favorite
Yeah.
joke.
And
My
there's
favorite
Renee.
silly joke.
And there's Renee. Hi, Renee.
Oh, wow.
Glad to see everybody can make it today.
Hey, you guys.
Hey,
Cutting
everybody.
it close. Typical
Oh,
designers to cutting it down to the last second and then finally
exactly.
getting it done. All right.
Oh, Chad wants to master the material list.
The
Good for
master
you.
them. Yeah, so I say good for you.
Good for you. So Chad has probably some of the most beautiful drawings ever. It is amazing. His drawings. Chad comes to our our summit every year, and for those of you who are still on the fence, there are some openings still available. But Chad's drawings are so beautiful. They're work of art. They are definitely works of art.
That means it takes him too long.
Yeah, well, I think it's because you're right. He makes them so beautiful. It's amazing. Hi, John.
So,
Hi, everybody.
so if we took the time to learn material lists and so that we could get good enough to teach it, how many of people on the call would want to learn more about material lists so that they could use them?
That's a good question.
How do you
I've
know?
been,
Everybody
I have
hold up
been
their-
doing a little materialistic stuff of late, just
Mhm.
getting some counts on sheathing and stuff like that. And
Can we do a?
I
Can we
don't
put
know.
together a? Is there a way
Oh,
to
you
do
can do a poll. You can do a
say a
poll.
poll?
Yeah.
So here's what I tell people that want to train on materialists. If you want to just do some takeoffs on a few things, great.
Yeah.
We can teach the materialist. That's a great tool. If you want an accurate takeoff on your entire building, in the last 10 years, I've maybe made one accurate model. It takes 30% more time. At that cost, I'd rather just pay a framer to do the takeoff.
I
Well,
agree.
but Renee, you're doing one-offs too. If you're doing like subdivisions and things like that, where plans just change a little bit.
Yeah.
Now
Then
that they have
yeah,
live
maybe it's
material
worth it.
lists, they would
Right.
be
So
worth
can
it.
we Can we also talk about liability? I'm a designer. I'm not going to put together the material list. I want the contractor to do their own. I don't want that liability. I
The
think
same disclosure that a lumber yard does. They don't guarantee the lumber package either.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would say John has the perfect use case. If you're doing remodels, if you're doing additions, even if you're doing new construction, one-off custom new construction, I don't really see the material list as a viable option. I would advise against it. But if you're doing subdivisions, if you're doing stock plans, and that's part of the package, then yeah.
or even sometimes just if you've got a if you're doing semi-custom homes too, like you say, your siding's always going to be this, your framing's always going to be this, you're always going to use this set of cabinets, these light fixtures and things like that.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
customer might want to change it from this light fixture to this light fixture.
Right.
You can change that pretty fast, and if you have it set up already, it's going to give you an accurate.
So I think-
I'm of the mindset of using material lists to help you with your takeoff. So I'll print, I'll open Chief's material list and I'll do a count on anything with an area is going to be pretty accurate. Flooring, sheathing, siding, roofing, that kind of stuff. I don't have too much trouble with those sorts of things. And those can save you a ton of time. And you can even add a little percentage more if you want to right on Chief's material list. But yeah, to do a complete takeoff, I find that be a little tough. I'm more interested in doing a super accurate plan that includes all of the information that you need, that anybody that knows how to do a material list could take off no problem in minutes. So that's my goal. And good dimensions, good, and I like doing 3D framing. I'm the kind of guy that I pretty much do that on every project I do, because it's not hard to do if you have a good model. And I think it's worth its weight in gold when you can look at the 3D framing and see how things line up. You can count the studs right up the screen. Not exactly a recommended way to do it, but again,
I wouldn't do it that way.
Yeah, it's what I do. I'm good at it. I've been doing it forever. I've got 20 years of building contracting experience.
Can I ask this question though?
So,
is how many framers actually follow your framing plan? Exactly. Most of the time they go, yeah, I'm putting a wall here. Leave me alone.
Yes and no. It depends on the project. It depends on a lot of things. I just do them because they're easy to do.
Right.
Again, you've got a good, accurate 3D model of the project, filling it in with the framing. It takes 15, 20 minutes, half hour, depending on the project, of course. But for lining up bearing points, for examining things that you just have questions about structure, how it's going to hold itself up, I think they're invaluable.
I want to pin this note about from Doug Norton.
Yes.
It's a good note.
It's a really good note.
The thing that I tell people is that notes don't keep anyone from calling me. And I don't want the call. I won't offer that service. So, and that's me. I don't want the call. I don't want people calling me. It doesn't matter what disclaimers I have on my document. That's why I don't put renderings in my documents. I don't want the phone call to say, hey, how come something's out of place in this rendering?
Yep. I agree with you, Renee.
Right? It's up to you guys on what you want.
Like Ethan just volunteered to be on one of our shows, it looks like.
Yeah, well, that would be a lovely day with Ethan. Hanging out with him and having him on the show would be a lovely opportunity for us all. Yes. There was some comments about something to work on, and Designer X made a comment about doing a double sill plate with 2x8s and then an upper sill 2x6 flush on the inside.
Easy peasy. Open up the framing.
Because 2 people asked about doing a double sill plate.
Go to sills, uncheck this.
You're not sharing your screen, Dan.
Oh, yeah. John, share my screen, will you?
That would help.
Oh, there you go.
We're not awake yet.
Thank you. So again, click on the window or window and then open it.
No.
Huh?
They're talking about the bottom of the wall.
The bottom of the wall, not
the sill plate.
Well, excuse me. That one I don't think you can do. Can we?
You can't. I don't think you can change it. You can do a double, but you can't make it 1 2x8 and 1 2x6.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, hold on. Yeah, they wanted the double sill plate to be a 2x6, and then the upper sill to be that's right, 2x8 and a 2x6, with the 2x6 flush on the inside.
Okay.
You'd have to just do a CAD drawing, right? I mean,
Well, if it were me, I would just
Actually,
do it manually,
Do
probably.
it with a furring wall. What would be the purpose of that? What's the use case of having that situation?
Yeah, that would be a good question.
that was Designer X asked that question.
Designer X, what's the use case for that?
Double.
Yeah, again, I just handle this with the detail.
Yeah.
With a CAD line, right? With a CAD
you would have
drawing.
to,
Yeah.
you just have to create your wall so that it takes up the space.
That's
Yeah,
it.
This is
The
why
only
I only
time-
do details for sections. Like he burns
It
so
says
much time.
In the, you know, when you're doing sections in Chief through a 3D model and you want to show that, well, then you'd have to add that detail to the wall itself.
Okay, explain to me what zip R6. I know R6 has got to be insulation, but what's a zip? What is that?
That's a zip wall, zip sheathing. It's
Oh, got it.
What's the R6 for? We're talking about something that's what?
The
2
zip-
inches?
installation
Zip's
value
got
of our
foam.
6.
You can buy zip
got
panels
foam
now
attached
with
to it.
insulation already
Oh, a
on them.
specific zip. Okay. So a zip panel that is an R6.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's looking to
Yeah.
do a sill plate on the bottom. Well, let me just show you a way to do that, possibly.
Could do a
So,
pony wall.
Yeah. Pony
Um,
wall. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, but if you just want to show that in your framing, you just click on a wall, open its dialog, and here's if I wanted to show it in 3D, here's how I would do it, possibly. I'm going to draw a line through here, and I'm going to trim out my studs here. Okay, I'm going to add another plate. You know, copy. Oops, I missed my snap there. Again, this is the long way around. It's one wall at a time. You could click that bottom wall then and make it a 2x8. Okay, just by changing it. And then I'm just going to extend my stud, you know, delete that line and extend my studs back down. So it's a way to do it. It's manual. It's not super easy
I'll
to
set up a
do.
way for this, and I could show it in a little bit
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
want to.
But there's, let's see if it worked. Yeah. So there's my plate. My plate's centered on the thing, so I would need to adjust that. You know, I need to do the X, Y one way or the other. Once I calculate that, it wouldn't be hard to do. And I would have to move it over half of the distance of the plate. I'm assuming you're wanting to do the plate because like that, because you want your zip panel with the sheathing to rest on the 2x8 and then nail
Yeah.
at the bottom here. That's
Yeah,
what I'm assuming.
His last comment defines that, and that is
Okay.
correct. He wants the
Yeah.
zip to sit on that
So,
plate.
so that would be a way to do it into, you know, so then it would be part of your cross section when you add that to your, you know, when you're doing your sections through your model. So
I got it
here,
right
could
now.
probably move it right here too. So the nice thing about, oops, I'd do it the other way, I guess, like this. There you go. So now that's going to be sticking on the right side. Your sheathing would rest on top of that. Anyway, okay, Renee, have at it. Show us what your solution would be.
I just have a pony wall here, and I mean, you got to get rid of the little insulation cross box because it's going to show that this is insulated. But the pony wall is only, you know, 1.5 inches tall. So all I did was add that 2 inches, assuming 2 inches of zip wall
Yeah.
plus whatever this pony wall is. Now it didn't auto do a cross box. That might be because I didn't get it right on the money, but I mean that's it. But it's actually
Yeah.
the model is actually built this way now.
There you go. So show 3D of what the pony wall looks like. Just show people how you made the pony wall for those that don't know how to do pony
Okay.
walls.
So that's over one of these. I'm not sure which one I did it on. Okay. So I opened up a wall, and then in the wall types panel, designated pony wall, and then I went in to define my upper wall. I redefined the upper wall, and I dropped in a 2-inch insulation air gap. And so
Make
these
that,
walls,
make that a frame. Make that framing. Make that wall a frame.
well, I don't, this is his zip wall is what that
Oh,
would
okay.
be.
Okay.
And then the wall below it is 2 inches wider. That's that 2x6. So that's a 2x6 wall plus a 2x4 wall on top with that zip sheathing. And so they are the same thickness, so they will align.
You
So I
just
have-
made it, and then
I
you
have a-
just made it 1.5 inches tall.
Yeah.
So I have another way that also makes use of a pony wall, but you could also simply make a pony wall where the bottom part of the wall was only 1.5 inches tall. Make your wall 8 inches wide. Make the upper portion of the pony wall 8 inches wide, and the zip is the exterior layer of that. So you've created an 8-inch wide wall with the zip sitting on top of an 8-inch wide wall that is only 1.5 inches tall.
So that's what I did.
And
Same
then
thing.
now
Except
that you
they're all
have
pony
that,
walls that way. Yeah.
What's
now
that?
that you have that wall built, Renee, put it in your library and pull it from the library to draw it instead of from the wall tool.
Done. Yeah.
And
There
you
you
call it the zip R6 wall.
That will only save the top wall. It won't save the bottom.
Oh,
So
it
you
saves the
you
whole
still have
thing.
to designate a
Oh.
pony wall. Oh no, you're right. It does come in as a
Saves the
pony
whole
wall.
thing.
It's, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saves the whole thing. All right. Cool. There you go.
Look at that.
You guys are
Look, it
amazing.
even shows it in this little preview,
That one
right?
right. That's worth at least. How much is that worth? Man, that's worth a lot.
Yeah.
You need a
And you
I
can
have a
get those
question
tricks
though
and
about
more at the summit.
I have a question
That's
about
awesome.
this zip sheathing. You show my screen here. So again, these panels are now coming that you can get it with the insulation attached to the zip sheet. The zip sheathing is, the coated OSB that's got the air barrier on it already. And then they have the different thicknesses of the insulation. I'd love to know how that compares in cost to put that on versus just because I got a client that's asking for 2x4 framing with the R6 zip, and I understand the benefits of the zip panel as far as that it, a lot of times you get through the stud, you'll get the
Thermal
cold
bridging.
transfer. This breaks
Mhm.
that.
Thermal bridging.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I get the benefits of it. I'm just curious how the cost would be. So if you think about it, if you can comment, who's it, Designer X?
Someone
That would
did
be
a
awesome.
really good breakdown of cost in the Discord server about that. Let me see if I can find it.
I can tell you that from my standpoint, when I was building the zip was nearly equivalent to the cost when you consider everything, not just the price of the material, because of the labor and effort to put up the air barrier and insulation layers and all that kind of thing versus just putting up the zip. The place where it really shines is that you can put it up like anything else, seal the joints, and you have a completely sealed exterior, which is wonderful, as well
Yeah.
as not dealing with the wind blowing tonight and pulling off your air barrier and everything else. So when you consider everything, it's easily worth it.
Okay.
Well, if it's only adding between $1,700 and $4,400, I mean, that's not huge.
Where do you come up with those numbers?
Consider the labor and
Oh,
the
this is
labor
someone that-
redos when something is failing, like the air
Oh, right
barrier
there,
gets
okay.
blown off or something.
Oh yeah.
This is a compliment and a dig at the same time, I think, Norman.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. Yes, I agree with you, Norman. I wish we were metric too. Much easier.
Yes, much
Um,
easier.
So you got an advocate here. They won't do much good. Okay, cool. That was really a cool topic. I like that. I looked up some pricing on those sheets the other day. How much does a sheet cost? That's what I would like to know. With
I'd have
the
to look that
R6 on it. I found some price like $90 a sheet, or it's like something like that. And it's like,
Wow.
it seemed
But you
a
have to
little-
compare that. You have to compare that to the sheet of insulation, the sheet of OSB, the sheet of air barrier, everything
Well,
total.
I was
because-
comparing it to 2x4 insulation with the zip and the foam versus just 2x6 with OSB. That's kind of how I was looking at it. So, but I understand what you're
Well, then
saying.
you have
too.
the labor of installing each one of those things independently. And
Exactly.
Erin makes a really good point. She says that only one trip around the perimeter with the scaffolding.
Right.
Yeah.
So
right.
you're not, I mean, scaffolding is a nightmare putting up and down, and it takes so much time to do
Okay,
it. So,
$87, so it's not too far off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And to me, once I did it on the first house, it was a no-brainer. From that point on, everything was done that way.
so did you do the 2x4 with the R6 zip and the?
No, that didn't exist. So
Oh, okay.
I did it with the zip, but I was
Zip,
still doing the insulation on the interior. Now
That
with the
I was.
new energy codes, it makes complete sense.
It
'Cause
does.
we have to build up that exterior R value to the point that you got to have a pretty thick wall to make that happen.
Yeah. Cool. Great
Got a
question.
question here
Thanks.
from Michael Powell in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Section arrows are larger on the foundation plan than the floor plan.
Exactly.
What's that? My section are so larger? Oh,
That's going to be from the text style, I would assume, of the cross section. So this guy right here, camera's cross sections, foundation plan, camera's cross sections.
It may also have to do with the text style.
That's, yeah. You're just like repeating me today, huh?
Yeah, well, I revere you, so it's important. What is
The
it?
best form of
Change.
flattery, right?
That's
Just,
right. Imitation is the best form of flattery.
So if the cross, like you can override this. First thing to check is if your text style is different on your foundation plan than your whatever other plan view, which is coming from your layer set. That's your layer sets designating that. And then the other thing is maybe you overrode the text style for this. So plan display panel, I think.
It's I'm using the same
Is
plan
it-
view for foundation
Yeah.
and the other elevations. If you're using different
So-
plan views, that could change the.
Oh,
color
so it
code
has to be the
automatically.
text style. You wouldn't, if you overrode it, it would be overwritten on in every
Man.
layer set. So
Somebody said that earlier.
okay, children.
All right.
what
Oh
else
my
you got?
goodness.
Margaret's wondering if we finished going over the X16 stuff.
No, we haven't. We still have like, I don't know, 15 more to go.
No, there's like one.
At the rate we
Oh,
were
is
going,
it?
yeah, we could be going the rest of the year at the rate we were.
Yeah.
We'll do the X16s
We haven't
till the
finished it.
X17s come out.
Yeah. Well, let me review where we were at with that, and then we'll.
Well, we went off on a
since I'm-
tangent,
since
Dan. The
I'm
problem
one
was
that
is
since I'm the one that does the scheduling, let's review it, and then we'll decide what else to do on that. But
the problem
that
was when
really
you
fun.
guys were gone, we went off on a tangent on a really long.
That's what I heard.
Well, we
So-
dove
Yeah,
into
you know.
rendering. That's all.
We dove into rendering really good. It was great.
I got a question.
Didn't have John there to cut us off.
You guys chime in anytime if someone asks questions, but let me throw out a topic here. How many of you do this sort of stuff before you model your building? Actually draw the cross section before you try to model. Any
It's a
of you
lot
guys
easier to do that. I've done it.
Oh, can you show my screen, John?
I did.
We're
it. I
sharing your
got you.
screen.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're showing your screen.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm not seeing you guys right now. So
I do that when I'm doing remodels because I have to do that. It's
okay.
the only way to get your dimensions correct.
Yeah, and how many people on the call listening in do this, where they actually just use the CAD tools and drawing? You're just drawing a 2D CAD drawing of what it is you want to model. I mean, I do this a lot on a lot of my projects because it's
Yeah, and
the
this
best
is
and
just so
easiest
you're.
way.
Why do you do this?
So I know what to model. Okay, so when I do this, okay, here's my zero floor height right here. Okay, so I know exactly what to put my floor height at. I know where my stem wall height is at. I know what my ceiling height should be. I know where my fascia height should be for my roof. I know how much headroom it takes all the guesswork out of messing around with 3D modeling to try to get everything the way you want it.
Why wouldn't you just be plugging that into your floor defaults?
Into what?
Your floor defaults.
Because I don't know what it needs to be to plug in.
Okay.
Because I don't know, how do I know I need 1 foot 10 3/4 inches from zero to the top of the concrete?
Well, where are you getting this from?
That number would come from my floor joist, my truss thickness, sill plate is coming from the height of the concrete block or the foundation walls.
Are we talking this new construction remodel?
This is well,
Remodels.
this is new construction. Okay, yeah, they're basically removing the old house.
So you're mapping it out essentially.
Yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
You're not doing it for the whole house. You're doing it to get the critical measurements.
Yeah, and then so once I get all my critical dimensions in place, I will then pull my cross sections through my model, because I can add the framing to this model super easy and done. I don't know, it just really works for me. So I've done this for years. You know, I've done this always when I'm trying to do a remodel.
I'm with Ethan on this. Why not just model it?
Because
I'm
I
also
don't
with
know
Ethan
what
on
to
this.
model. How do I know that this height here needs to be what it needs to be when I need 113 inch? Or, you know, how do I know that my fascia height is such now? Although I will say one thing they added in X16, which is fabulous, and that is this one setting in the roof dialog that tells you your heel height. This
Yeah,
is so freaking cool. This
I
takes
was part of
this
that
takes-
thread on Chief Talk that was like a brute force thread. Like, give us this or we quit.
yeah, I tell you that when I noticed that in X16, I almost did a jump up and down in my chair, because that is such a valuable piece of information. Because I would always have to draw my cross section to figure out my fascia height when I needed a specific heel height. Now it's right there. So that will eliminate a lot of that guesswork, or that, me drawing that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw this topic out there because it's something that I've done for a long time, and it really works for me. So
John, this is a CAD detail that Dan drew that he's showing there.
yeah, as I'm drawing this project, I'm doing this. And the other reason I'm doing this is because this is like the 4th time now that we've changed the garage and how they want to do it. Yes, they want living above. No, they want bonus above. No, they don't. Now they want to make, bigger dormer off the edge to do bedrooms up there. And so it's just part of the whole process of working your plan through. I'm up to version 9 in this particular layout for this project. Interesting project too, because these people bought this house on a beautiful lot on a little lake here in the Twin Cities, and their house is about like this right now. This is existing. This is going to be new. They're going to live in this while I build this, and then they're going to live in this while they tear this down and build this. I'm designing around a critical wall element here. But anyway, regardless of that, fun project to design. But we're just taking our time and getting it the way they want it. So it's just kind of fun.
Can I redress this? Let's see.
Please.
I want to put my
Yeah,
screen
I'm just curious in people's opinions. So here's what
So
we're
this
getting.
would be, and we could stick our faces back on the screen if we want.
Faces.
To me, I think I'm maybe a little unique in that I do a lot of work in 3D. So maybe that's why this works really well for me, is that, you had 1 foot 4.5. I already know, I have 4 walls in here for a number of different reasons. This is my template plan. It just comes with 4 walls established, which is establishing a building. So I know off the bat that this is here. And part of that is that when I'm coming in a project and I need to know, I got to build a garage. Let's just say I'm going to turn this room into a garage, because that's what you were showing, is that you were showing a garage,
Yeah.
right? I think. Yeah.
Yep.
And then I already know that this is a 1 foot 9 setup. So I can come in here into this room and then bring this up 5 inches. So that's my first part. That turns off auto build foundation. Next part is you had a different heel height. So I'm just going to come in to build roof and change that heel height.
Right.
So, I mean, this is very fast to me versus CAD seems a lot slower to me. So that's why I'm wondering what the difference is.
I think it's just
it's just that it's I see it differently. Like I can see this versus it's very clear. Your diagram's super clear and it's a great reference point, right?
Yeah.
But I might just save this by itself as my reference point. It's like, hey, if nothing else, come back to this.
I'd say probably about 50% of the types of projects I do that have difficult, not difficult, but a lot of shit going, a lot of things going on. Excuse my term there.
I'm going to
It's
show
just
anybody on
easier
the
for me to organize my thought process if I put it on the screen and I have it right there.
Gotcha.
So,
Totally understand.
and I think reverting back to a conversation we were having earlier about the young lady that's struggling in your class because she can't stay focused. Sometimes I think some of that not being able to stay focused becomes from total lack of understanding of what to draw. Not how to draw it, but what to draw.
Right.
Right.
And I run into that too. So I don't necessarily know what to draw. So if I take a little time and slow down and do what I do with these cross-section things, it helps me clarify what I need to draw.
Well, and let's talk about the issue is that there's a lot of really advanced builders on this call and in this room.
Exactly.
And then there are people who are not really advanced. Like I'm not a builder, right? I don't do house construction, and a lot of this, like, it's easier for me to go through the exercise that you talk about, Dan, so that way I can actually understand what I'm creating.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really experienced in that. Some of these people who are on the call and you guys in the room are really experienced, and it's easy for you, especially Renee. I mean, your brain works differently than the rest of us. We all know that. Okay. I say that lovingly, but
yes,
I mean,
his brain works at a higher level.
He vibrates at a higher level than the rest of us. We already know this. We already know this about Renee. But
you haven't seen my outtake videos.
No, I haven't. But no, but you did actually admit that you were human recently, so that was actually good to know.
Yeah, when I was
Anyway,
choking on a recording. Yeah,
exactly. So sometimes doing a rough drawing is really good for people to do, and I really recommend it, especially for beginners, to sketch it out if you don't quite understand what's going to happen, because you don't need to. Some people don't understand once you put it in 3D or get in the plan. You're like, I have no clue what I just drew, right?
So
I want to show a couple things real quick because I was kind of in that mode. Is that floor defaults? If people are a little bit newer to this software, floor defaults drive all of your structural setups for every room on the entire floor. Okay, so instead of, if you're someone that is designating individual rooms structure and heights, I would encourage you to instead change your floor defaults, and it will automatically change the heights of all the rooms on that floor. So that if I have a floor where one room is 9-foot ceilings and the rest of the rooms are 8-foot ceilings, you should go to floor defaults and make sure floor defaults are 8-foot ceilings, and then just change the one room to that 9-foot ceiling.
Exactly.
And I do want to show, if I've got in, if you do want to try working in 3D and give it a shot, I'm just going to show you a workflow for this. Here, I've created a dividing room where, actually we'll do a couple dividing rooms, where these two rooms are going to be 8-foot ceilings, and this room is going to be 9-foot ceilings. Or actually, let's do the inverse. These two are going to be 9 foot. This one's going to be 8 foot. So I want my floor default to be 9 feet. I know my template plan has an 8-foot ceiling. So I get into edit default settings, floors and rooms, and it shows me floor levels. And then here's my first floor defaults. This dialog looks a lot like the structure panel on a room dialog box. Yep. So it's the same panel. And here's where I can just hit +12. Okay. And that will get me my 9-foot ceiling. Instead of this, I'm going to show you another way in 3D. I can click on this. This selects the wall. If I hit tab or enter, it now selects what's called the exterior room. It's going to give you this edit handle here, and down at the bottom somewhere, it should give you another edit handle, which is that, oh, excuse me. That's just for the floor below. There's a spider right in front of my screen. It's going to land right on my keyboard. So if I tab through this and grab this, oh, he's going back up. Okay.
You didn't think about taking him outside, huh?
If I tab through this and drag this edit handle up, you're going to notice the entire structure looks like it's moving up. It is. It's changing the floor default.
Right.
So very quickly, I can, while I'm dragging this cursor up, hit tab or enter, put in 12 inches. I've now changed the entire floor default for this floor to 9 feet. We can
Do you have the
confirm it.
ability to hold the roof in place at the same time?
It's just auto building off of that new plate height. So there we go. Now I got a new 9-foot ceiling plate height. And then I can go into that one particular room that I wanted different. And I could do the same thing. I could come into this room, tab into it, drag it down 12 inches. And now that particular room has an 8-foot ceiling height. The rest have 9 foot.
And
So-
note that he wasn't changing a wall. It was the room. So you have to make sure you can see that that box all the way around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to
Yeah.
mess with the wall.
By default, in your preferences, let's see, where is it? Architectural. By default, select room before wall in 3D is unchecked.
Yeah.
I
That
prefer
used
it
to-
that way.
That used to always come in checked if you would change the ceiling height. Or if you tried to pull a wall up, it would change the ceiling height in your plan. Did they change that in their
Or
default
maybe
view?
not. Maybe it is checked by.
It might. I don't think I've been changing that anymore. Because I always used, every time I would reset my preferences for a new version, I would go change that one right away. So I think they've changed that now. To where
It's
if you click
unchecked
on
by
a-
default.
I think so.
Okay.
I think there was a few versions where it was always checked in, and people were getting confused because they thought they were pulling a wall up or down, and
Yeah.
you changed the whole room. And
So I'm going to show
change the
one
whole-
more thing here. In that structure panel in this room, I want you to notice that the gear icon here doesn't have this little check mark next to it.
Right.
That's indicating that we're no longer following the floor default. If you didn't know, this is good information.
That's
If you
huge to
wanted-
know that. Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could select multiple rooms and hover over and just click this gear icon, and
No.
it will put a check mark next to it, change your ceiling height back to the
Back
floor
to the
default.
Exactly. That's really nice information to know that why those wrench icons are there and why the little check mark is there. I don't think a lot of people understand that. But yeah, if it's checked in, that is the default setting for that particular item.
It's
Just so
also
you
a
know-
good way. It's also a good way to fix multiple rooms where you know you've got an issue with ceiling heights, and you just want to make sure that what did I do? Why is it off? And make sure
Renee,
that
can you bring that thing back up you just had open and change one of the rooms? Change it so that add a few more rooms, and then change the height in one of the rooms. Use the what do you call that little multi-select thing, John, that you like all the time?
Match properties.
Match properties. Show people how to use the match properties real quick. That's really a nice way. If you've got a lot of stuff going on in your plan and you want to check all your floor and ceiling heights, or just your floor heights, or whatever, the match properties function is amazing.
Especially if you have like 3 rooms that are one height and 3 rooms that are a different height.
Yeah.
So I have 2 rooms that are not. Let's just put some. I'm going to put some labels on these things. Actually, we'll just put labels on all of them because my labels show up. So there we go. I got a couple rooms that have 9 foot, a couple rooms that have 8 foot. If I select this one with 9
No,
foot,
hold on. Now, if this doesn't get people asking a question, how'd you do that? I'll be really
that's in my-
surprised.
it's in my
Okay.
template.
Yes.
It takes a little
All right.
macro for that.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to use the match properties tool. That was this guy right here, the little guy.
The little yellow dot icon.
And then I can just type in a search. There's a couple clever things that Chief does. You could just click on select found, and that will select anything that was found in your search term. So in this case, I'm looking for anything that has the ceiling elevation. Press OK. And now Chief highlights with the color that you have for selected highlights, selected objects, highlights rooms that are matching that property. The next thing that you could do is use the apply properties tool. And so this will apply those properties I searched for.
Yeah.
And now I could potentially what?
Just click
Hover
in
over
those
this.
rooms.
There we go. And
Okay.
see that now applied it to this
Yeah.
room. Now it's a 9-foot ceiling height.
Yeah.
I still have that tool enabled. You could see my mouse cursor's changed, right? So
Mhm.
same thing. I could draw a marquee over here.
You just have
I
to
think.
click in the room.
Just click in it. There we go.
Yeah.
It's
there
funny.
you
It doesn't have like any kind of visual indicator that you're doing anything with
True.
that click. There
In
you
fact,
go.
it's hard to click and look. It's hard to click in small rooms sometimes, and you really have to zoom in on those rooms.
And sometimes you'll click in it, it will make the change, but it won't change the color. So if you keep clicking in it, nothing's happening. Just go back out again and do the match properties again. And if it took it,
Yeah.
it will match it.
Yeah.
It'll show it matched.
So another way to think of those buttons are one is copy and one is paste. So you always have to click the paste button, the place match properties. So
And another thing I don't think people use that often, and now that I'm used to it, I use all the time, is I think it's the escape button, but mine's remapped, where you can go back, cycle through the previous tools that you used. So if you see my cursor, I cycle back through by, oops, no, now I'm stuck in that zoom mode. I'm cycling back through old tools that I used and cycling back forward through tools that I use. So I could cycle back through until I get to my wall tool again. So if I just need to drop a cabinet in real quick, I'm on my wall tool right now. I need to drop a cabinet in real quick, and then I want to be back on my wall tool, I can cycle back to that. And you see it just got enabled. I didn't need to hit any other hotkey. I just needed to hit that cycle back through and forth.
okay.
I don't remember which way it is, but I think by default, it's the space bar and the escape. One of them will shut everything down completely. The other one takes you back a step.
Yeah.
I don't remember
you
which
can
way
move
it is.
You
through.
changed your escape to do that, right, Renee? Is that what you're saying? You changed your escape
Yeah,
button
I
to do
changed.
that?
My middle mouse has a left and right click, so
Mhm.
I click left, I click right. That gets me it.
Yeah. So check out Ethan's question. He has a question about defaults.
I could do this one. I know
Okay.
how to do this now. Took me a while to figure this one out and remember it. Show my screen.
Yeah, you're up.
Thank you.
Yep.
So often people use the little painter icon here and they paint different materials on their walls. Okay. So basically you're skim coating your wall with a different material. And Ethan wants to know, how do I set all my walls back to the default materials for the walls? Okay. So what you're going to end up using is that same tool. No, use a spray can tool. Now I have to remember if I remember this. And you're going to
Plan materials.
I need to get my little icon-y things down here. So I want to select all materials and no, this is not right. I've got to. I thought I remembered this one.
Just go to plan material. Go to plan materials.
Plan materials, right? And choose default. Use default. Okay. So I'm clicking. I'm hitting the spray can, and I want to use default material on my walls. Okay. So I'm going to spray default over my whole plan by selecting the whole plan. So every wall in my plan that used to have a material sprayed over it is now set back to the default. Thank you.
Okay.
So you
Show
have to
that
use the
again.
spray can. Okay. So
Show that again, please.
so you've gone through your plan.
Made a bunch of changes.
You see all my walls now changed because I still had the whole plan thing checked. So I want to set my walls back to their default material. Okay, the default material is the material that you set up when you go to wall types, hit define, and everything that's listed here is your default material, not the stuff you've sprayed on top of it. See the word default here? Well, that's default layers now, which is another nice feature they added in X16, which I love. So I want to set it back so it has the siding again, because if I change the wall type, it's still going to be shingles. No matter what I could change it to brick, it's still going to be shingles. So hit the spray can, select default, use default, click OK, select plan, and then just click on the walls, and it'll put the default material back on the walls.
Well, and
So
just
it's
for
using-
anyone that's
On that
watching
wall
this,
type.
just for anyone that's watching this, that use default setting works on everything. You don't
Yeah.
have to change tools and go back to change other things. If you wanted to revert your roofing back to default, your fascia back to default, it will do all of that. So
yeah,
long as
so
you're clicking on things.
Oh,
Turn off
this.
auto rebuild roofs.
Oh, this is new. So I'm just going to put siding on the roof, change the default material for this component.
Turn off auto rebuild.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. So I did all my roofs again, but I want to set those back to the default. So Renee
And
said
change the
same
color of
thing.
your walls too, just so we can show that it'll do both in one action.
Okay, so I'll paint my walls white. Oops, I painted everything because it all had the same material. Let me undo a couple
That's
times
fine. That's all you
because
needed to do.
because I
That's
had
fine.
all the same materials and everything. So let me just do this again. So I'm going to put shingles on my walls, and I'll just do it by object. Okay, and I'll put some white on my roof. Turn off auto build. Okay, so now I want to set everything back to the default. So I'm going to click the spray can, hit use default, click OK, check my entire plan, click on the plan, click on the roof. Now I'm back to my default materials.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's really a nice feature. It's just, it's so simple. It's like every time I do it, it's like, what did I do again? But the key is you have to use spray can.
I'm
And
trying
just
to
like-
remember, Dan. Wasn't it 2 years ago you came back from Coeur d'Alene
Yeah,
with that
yeah.
tip?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I asked him that down there, and he showed me, and it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
If I
Well,
remember,
you were
if I
you were
remember
trying to
right,
show
there
me
were
how to
three
do that,
cartwheels.
Dan. What was that?
I said,
Kevin,
if I
I'm sorry.
remember right, there were 3 cartwheels involved.
Something like that. Yeah.
Dan, you were
Mhm.
trying to show me how to do that on a project that I was working on, and thank you. Now I know how to do it. So thank
Oh.
you.
Good.
I want to show something on that
Go for it.
using default materials. If you are bringing anything in from like a SketchUp or something like that, you're pulling a model from somewhere else, and you're going to end up adding it to your library. So I've got a hood here, and by the way, I just redid all of my hoods in my catalog to use emitters, so that now that they use emitters, we have the I don't know what just happened there.
What's an emitter?
It is
Light.
a class of material that produces light in Chief
Okay.
Architect. And in X15 and before, all that did was kind of indicate that there was light there by creating like a bloom effect. Now in X16, if something is painted with an emitter class, it will actually produce light. This is a hood. The hood is a fixture class. It's not an electrical class like your lighting would be, but it still has the off button to turn on and off. And that's
Nice.
because I used an emitter on the actual symbol itself. So now this does emit light, right? So, and then part of doing this and building this for my catalog is I want to set this up so that when I drag in a hood into my plan, it's using the default material for appliances. That way, this is not a static color. If my plan's default for appliances were white and I drag this in, it's going to be white when I bring this into the plan file. I actually don't know where you set up default plans. I bet it's in 3D material, plan materials. Somewhere in here is, oh, it's got to be in default settings and materials. So there we go. Default settings, materials. If I were to come in here and say for appliances, I want this default material to be, just pick something kind of like
How about
carpet.
shingles?
There we go. So for carpet now is my default for appliance materials. Look at that. It's going to change this hood when I bring it in from my library. So
Wow.
any hood that I have that I've established is going to use my default material for appliances is now going to be a carpeted hood.
Wow.
That's going to
Nice.
carry the fish smell for a while.
It's going to be lovely.
It'd go perfect with the shag carpet you'll put in the room, right?
We had a couple questions a while back talking about wanting to know about putting multiple rows of blocking in walls.
You need Ethan on the call.
As a
Big guy,
default.
any
When
ideas?
we do that in all the walls at once, I don't know.
You have to draw it in. For
That's what I'm
sure.
wondering if we'd have to open.
You
up
can't
each
create a wall with blocking automatically in it.
No.
Let's see if we got any.
No. Okay.
Ethan, can you create a wall with blocking in it? No, he's spent so many hours. He's got a project right now where he's modeling modular homes where everything has to be dialed in and perfect. And so he's spent a ton of time trying to develop around that. And I think he's got a few tricks, but boy,
Well, yeah.
what's he saying there? Or blocking? Let's see.
There are some things that Chief needs to fix and add.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Chief has a default setting for adding staggered blocking automatically in a wall, but it doesn't do it.
Well, that's just making it so that the blocking is not in a row, it's staggered, but you're not going to get 2 rows of blocks, that's
Right.
for sure.
Exactly. I was just trying to get one to start out here.
Yeah, so you can select one wall, build the framing for that one wall, and that's going to ask you to turn on things in that view, and then you can open the wall detail for that wall. And then you can use, a blocking tool from boy, I haven't had to do this. Here's a blocking tool from the framing library and just draw through
Right.
a couple rows of
But
blocks.
not automatically. So you'd have to do that on every wall.
And that's staggered, right?
Yeah.
Can you change it from being staggered? Can it go straight across?
Yeah, I think that's in my settings somewhere, but you could just open these up and the dialog box for that should be, should show it somewhere here. Inline blocking. There you
Got
go.
it. Okay.
Cool. Hey, we're just about out of time here.
We did have a question. Somebody wants to do an individual. Somebody was asking about doing an indoor pool, just something that we can do in the future.
We can, but if you go back a couple of, might have been a couple of months ago, we did a show. It was me doing stuff about landscaping. If you went and watched that, I think you'd get the technique.
It was last month. It was like the beginning of last month.
Right. How to do an indoor pool off of that video. There was one about landscaping, setting terrain. I did a pool in that would be a good technique for
Here's your indoor pool.
Show off. Show. Now, does it start at 3 feet and go to 8, or is it all one level?
You want a little staggered setup here? Yeah, we could do that.
Fine. All right. So we got a few minutes left, but you guys be sure to check out our upcoming summit that will be happening next March. So it's on our homepage there. You can go look at the page and find out more information about it. We'll be updating that page soon. So we were just discussing that the other day. We got some fun things to add to that upcoming event. And I'm really looking forward to this one. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So we've got some good stuff happening.
Yeah, if you guys have not, if you're even considering it, you can get your name on a wait list because the rooms are booking up, and we'd hate for you to miss it.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it. Definitely a worth opportunity.
Yeah,
and it's for all levels, beginners all the way to advanced. So it's for everybody. Don't feel like you're out of the group, and you don't have to stay in one room. You can go from beginner for a while and go into a different room. And we're doing Chief pretty much 24/7 because Renee doesn't sleep. So there you go.
You have to sleep in the same room, though. You don't get to change that.
We're just going to put a little bunk there in Renee's training area. All right, so we got a few minutes. Any other questions? What do we got?
Margaret, we only have one item. We only have one item left.
Is that right? There's only one item on the X16 list?
Yeah, there was like one last thing.
What was
Good.
it?
What is
I
it?
don't even know. It's whatever the last thing on your list is.
So that was on the show page. Do I have that open? I do.
I know Ethan's going to Coeur d'Alene this month. Who else? Is anybody else going to Coeur d'Alene this month?
I am.
Well, I know we're all going.
Yeah.
Hey, well, wait, look at Vicky's comment. Will you ever have a summit on the western half of the U.S., Dan?
If I can find a property.
Dan.
Everybody asks this. If we can find a property that compares to what we're doing now, we'll figure something out.
Okay.
Doug, I certainly do at the summit. I go over quite a bit of Ruby things. So, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Jeffrey's going to Coeur d'Alene.
Yes, he is.
Jeffrey's staying with us.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. That's good to know. Yes, I should have known that. Sorry.
So the last thing on the X16 was electrical connections for fixtures. Create electrical designs where electrical connections map fixtures and other non-electric objects.
Hold on a second. There's two comments here.
I checked on
RT
that.
wants to know if you do need a laptop with Chief to participate. Yes, you can rent one if you're going to Coeur d'Alene, but if you're coming to the summit, you need your own equipment.
Well, yeah,
And
a lot of people bring their
he can talk to
desktops.
us. I let people use my laptop last
Yeah.
year.
We have extras,
Got
and people do bring their desktops. So, I
Yep.
mean, once you're there, it's set up and you're good to go.
And
Fact-
Designer X, the summit is in North Carolina. It's not that far from you.
That's right. Canada. Oh, Canada.
Canada. I love the idea of Canada.
Yeah, I know.
Love that.
Jeff, you're
I didn't
coming
think
in.
Kevin was allowed back in.
Oh, by the way, Jeff, we'll have to talk because Kevin and I are coming a day early. So, unless you're coming Monday, that'd be awesome. I think we already talked about that. Okay, you guys, we got 5 minutes. You want to just call
Yes.
it?
Oh, why do you keep saying we're ending?
Well, because I want to get a commercial in about the summit.
Okay, no, do your commercial, Dan. We're waiting.
That was good. Let's answer some more questions.
I don't think we had any other questions yet.
Well, I don't think there was, other than Summit on the west side, because
Yeah,
I still vote for that.
everybody's in. I think everybody's in end of designer show mode. There, all the comments
Yeah.
are about.
Yes.
Yeah, saying
But see
goodbye.
you later.
Goodbye.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's say goodbye then. So,
All right.
Okay. See you guys later.
Bye,
you guys
everybody.
have a lovely week. We'll see you next time.
Take
Bye
care.
now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.